Hello everyone. Last time around I said we would start talking about the Constantiam base of Delphi. And here it is! In all its... Yeah, this isn't gonna work, is it? Cue the montage! Well, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? Alright, let's get this show on the road. Welcome to Delphi, everyone. As we've established, this is the second base I was at on Constantiam, along with Zachary and Patty. Due to my wanting to finish New Hope, I came to Delphi around the 25th of August, but it was actually founded on the 31st of July 2016. When I got there, they had already built an inn where I temporarily set my bed spawn, houses, the center castle, the pyramid, and the gold farm. The iron farm was nearly finished, and 2T was working on his plans to build a massive cathedral, which to this day remains one of my favorite builds on Constantiam. I felt like the training wheels had come off. I talked to the guys and said I could probably convince two of my friends that I knew from real life to join up and thus expand our group. These players were D-Monkey and Captain Getzo. It was at this point that the entire cast of Delphi Crowd Originals was complete, and it was then that our adventures began.
It's our life in a block game here in Delphi, sitting pretty in our domain, shields and banners high. It ain't no mystery, Constantiam's history. Delphi, every day we're out, we're building Delphi. Tales of daring, do bad and good Delphi. The danger lurks behind you. There's a stranger out
When I first came here, it felt good to be part of something greater and already in a more advanced state than my first base. At the time, I didn't know a lot about Minecraft apart from craft god sets and get gapples. I was upset about the fall of my first base, and to his credit, Legenstoop decided to build a New Hope Memorial Tower near the center of town. Sir Leonidas wrote down the history of New Hope and housed it in this tower. I believe it serves as proof that Legenstoop, who many of us know as a troll, wasn't really that bad a person. That demeanor, however, seemed to gradually vanish as our time in Delphi progressed, and eventually, with its fall, he stopped playing altogether. I still wanted space to learn about Minecraft for myself, so I chose to make my home somewhat removed from the center of town. I found an underground mine, and I figured that it would be interesting to try and customize it. For all intents and purposes, I became Delphi's recluse blacksmith, basically. As a team who wanted to gain prominence on the server, we had one major problem. The spawn crew at the time had duped gapples, but we didn't have access to a dupe glitch. So we had to do what we had to do. We would organize raiding parties wherein we would leave base, travel a fair distance away, and basically spawn or dive for gapples. This process was extremely tedious and grindy. And thus was born a great tradition of Delphi, the Stop and Chills. Whatever we were doing, we would occasionally stop in a random place and just build a cozy nook together to get our minds off of the insane grind. To my knowledge, only 2 Stop and Chills have actually been found by the community. The one I'm showing here hasn't been, that I know of, but I unfortunately don't have screenshots of the other overworld ones. We also carried this tradition into the end when we spent a whole afternoon hunting for end cities. I'll delve into how Delphi conquered the end another time, but one interesting thing to point out is that this Stop and Chill here is one of the 2 who have been found so far, and was found this year. Someone messaged me about a month ago to let me know they found our Stop and Chill in the end. How about that? It only took 4 years. The most experienced members of our group were Sir Leonidas and Legenstoop, though the latter didn't build that much. I'm sure part of the initial experience felt like babysitting to Leo. And so, as we played more and more together and researched Minecraft mechanics, farms, and tricks on YouTube, we started acclimating. I became quite proficient at enchanting and making god gear, although it did take a long time to produce those things en masse in the overworld. The Monkey and Patty went heavily into the design and building aspects, and made a lot of builds that depended on seemingly chaotic block placement creating interesting texture. We still didn't have a great grasp on using hacks. Patty himself just played vanilla. This, combined with our inexperience, made for some interesting and funny happenings. So as you might have guessed, we were just a bunch of noobs trying to make it who managed to somehow be part of something big through social contact. I know a lot of people have visited Delphi and have wondered about the base and its community. I hope these videos will answer those questions. I'd be lying if I didn't say that a lot of fun times were had at Delphi. On that note, I hope you enjoyed this video. I appreciate all comments and likes, and if you think it's worthy of sharing, please do so and don't forget to subscribe. I'll catch you next time.